Okay, welcome back. So as promised, we're gonna start work on the Alaskan hauler. Really nice looking truck. Probably gonna dirty this one up a lot, just because I feel like that's what this particular truck, it just screams work truck. It screams dirty, maybe even a few bent parts here and there. I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna do with it. So what we have first is, of course, the engine. The engine's always the first step for whatever reason. So there's the instructions. I'm going to put up a picture here of the instructions for this particular part of the build. You probably saw that anyway immediately after the video started, but so basically just a whole bunch of parts, your typical things, the color scheme calls for tan on this engine, so I'll build it and we will paint it, and then and we'll see where we are from there. There is, of course, as I smack my camera, the left side with the intercooler and a few other little parts here, and there's a lot of real nice parts here, a lot of detail, so I'm quite anxious to get this one started. I do genuinely hope it goes smoother than the last one. Also, another apology, I know I do this a lot. I do apologize for the sound, the noise in the background. It is incredibly warm where I am right now, so the old noisy AC has to be turned on. So that's what's running in the background. I'm hoping it's not being picked up by the camera, but it probably is. So we'll get building, and we'll be back in just a bit. There. All right. So the engine is, I guess, as done as it's going to need to be at this point. Finish that part of the instruction. I'm sure there'll be some little pipes and things that'll be added on later. But very nicely detailed. I'm pleased with it. Fitment has been pretty good on this, I have to say. Usually you get one piece or two pieces that just don't want to work. And to be fair, there has been a lot of cleanup, a lot of flash on this kit. But I got off what I needed to get off. I already like one thing this kit does that so far none of the other kits have done. The motor mount, which is on this kit, is right here. Okay? It's glued on and put on to the engine, not the frame. Usually it goes on the frame first, and then really sort of struggled to make the engine fit onto that motor mount. But they've assembled the motor mount to the engine before the frame is built. So we'll see how that goes. I kind of like that idea because it means it's going to be in there securely. It's not, it's not an afterthought, in my opinion. Another thing to note, the instructions want this piece here. I forget what it's called already. It's glued on, and there are two of them, one for each side of the transmission. So you got this one here and this one here. The instructions claim that they're supposed to be facing the same direction. They are clearly not facing the same direction. I don't know what that means. I don't think it's a crucial detail or something that is going to make something not fit later on. But they are clearly facing two different directions. But the instructions want them facing the same direction. They can't be facing the same direction because of the tab that they actually are glued onto is it's molded in such a way that they only fit in this way. Otherwise, it's done. I mean, it's a really well detailed engine. I'm looking forward to painting it. That'll be the next step, in fact. So I'm going to go ahead and get this painted. You know what? I think I'm going to wait. I'll hold off on the painting because I have to do it all at once anyway. The engine will be painted tan with whatever details that colors it wants for other details. The next step is the frame. So we'll get started on that. But I'm very pleased. I think it's a very nice looking engine. Again, everything fit together very well. Very well detailed as well. So we'll call the engine done again for now because there will be other parts later. And we will get started on the frame. Now the frame, as I've said before, is I'm digging out the parts for that now. It is a typical AMT frame. It's you glue it together yourself. So it's left to you to make sure that the frame is straight and true. If it isn't, things are going to look odd. Hopefully not so much in the finished product. The last truck I did, the Ryder truck, the frame wasn't completely straight, so the cab sits a little bit at a slight angle to one side. So it's not noticeable, but it is something you have to kind of keep your eye open for. Revel kits, the frame is all molded for you together, so you don't have to glue the frame together. I enjoyed this process, but it is, again, something you definitely want to keep your eye open for, because if it's not straight, things will not fit quite properly. So that being said, let's get the frame built, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay. Got to the rear frame suspension axles. All in all, went together very, very well. This is an area I sometimes I sometimes struggle with because they are quite fiddly, tiny parts in some cases. But it went together well. There's a few things I had to guess on. Some of these frame supports here in the middle, for instance, there isn't always a clear location for them to be placed. So I struggled a bit with that. But I think I've got them where they're supposed to be. This piece up on the front here, I can only assume has something to do with mounting the engine and the radiator. Again, no clear indications to where it's supposed to be. I had to jump ahead in the instructions just to see if there was something that showed where it was mounted, and luckily the next step there was. Also, a bit of a disaster. Of course, me fumbling around, knocked over my glue pot. Upside is it dried really quickly. It's this kind of glue that really only works on certain types of plastic, which is what makes it perfect for model building. And so I was able to wipe it up really quickly. So it wasn't the disaster I thought it was going to be. Our next step is going to be the front axle. And I'm probably going to include with the front axle the wheel assembly. Because once the front axle's done, I'm going to basically give it all a good paint layer. And I'm going to paint all of the rims and hubs as well, because they are not chrome. That is one thing about this kit that I do like. No chrome. I don't have to scrape chrome to get glue to work. So no chrome parts at all, not even the wheel hubs. So they'll all be painted, which is great. So that's where we are now. We, of course, like I said, we're on the frame. My only hope now is that it's as straight as I can make it, and that once everything is on and assembled, it's not crooked in any way. I guess I won't know until I get to that point. So we're gonna go ahead and assemble the front axle. Probably some of the engine mount parts as well. And then we'll do some painting, and we'll get the front wheels assembled as well. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, once again, apologies. The AC is running in the background, very noisy. Not much I can do about it. It is very hot. So I've dry fitted the engine, obviously, because I do have to paint it, but it is in place, and I gotta say, I like its fit. I think it's gonna work out fine. So what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna assemble the wheels. I'm not gonna film that. Because it's just gluing a few pieces together, and then I'm going to paint them immediately. I will put up the instruction for that just so you can see it, but again, I'm not going to film that. So we will get the wheels together, get the chassis and the engine painted, and we should be back in a few minutes. Then we start doing some of the detail work, gas tanks, you name it, things like that. It's going to look really cool. So we'll go do some painting, and we will be back in a minute. So I went ahead and painted. I assembled the wheels. They are mounted and glued on. They do all turn, which is fantastic. One good thing about these, a lot of these AMT kits is that they do attempt to make it so that the wheels turn, and you know it has some feature to it. I've got a few that the wheels don't turn so well on, but this one they're very smooth. I mean, that just rolls real nice. I also painted the drive shaft, and I painted the engine. Now the engine does need some touch-up work. You know, not all the parts on an engine are this color. The instructions did call for tan or a beige. There's a lot of black parts, the belts, the fan. So there's a lot of parts that still need to be touched up and painted. I'll do that. I'm trying to get this video finished because I'm doing a live stream tonight. And the live stream, I'm going to do a lot of this touch-up work. So that'll be finished off, mounted. I may even do the weathering of the frame and the engine while it's in this shape. That way, you know, I can finish all of the other assembly and not have to worry about weathering this bit. There are also a couple of parts I forgot to install. The idler arm, the pitman arm, steering box, all of these things that really need to be mounted, and for whatever reason, I glossed over them. I did not put them on. But they're simple. I'll install those and they'll be ready for the next video. So that's it. I think we're coming along very well. I'm very pleased with it. And the next video will be probably the final assembly. I'm trying to make this a fairly quick series. I don't think anybody wants to watch 25 videos of one truck. My Black Pearl video is actually turning into that kind of a series. So I'm going to try and do the final assembly on the next video. And I think that's about it. So yeah, it's painted. We're looking real good. And then I just got to transfer the logging trailer over to this chassis, and we're gonna have a real nice Alaskan hauler logging truck. And that's it. Look for the next video. Again, final assembly. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes. I might have to make a third video after that. Depending on how long it takes to finish the rest of the kit. So that's it. Again, final assembly, hopefully. Crossing fingers, maybe not. And thanks for watching.